Seth, are we ready?
You got it. Go right ahead.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Town of Scituate's Board of Assessors meeting for March 23rd, 2022. At this point in time, I'd like to see if I could have an acceptance of our agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Guard, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Glowak. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Steve, I.
Todd is an aye.
All right, moving on. Our first agenda item is to accept the minutes from our prior meeting or meetings of February 8th, 2022, and the minutes from March 9th, 2022. Has everybody had an opportunity to review those minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, I move to accept them.
Motion by Mr. Glowak, seconded by
Steve, second.
Mr. Guard. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Steve, I.
That's 3 votes. All right, great, thanks. At this point in time, Joe, are there any walk-ins who want to address the board at this time?
No, there aren't.
Seeing no walk-ins, then I'd like to move on to new business. Joe?
Just real quick, we're back out conducting non-overvaluation abatement related inspections. First on the list are new homes being built. We want to make sure we try to get the file updated prior to creating the preliminary file so that ideally in the perfect world, all 4 quarters will be more or less an equal amount as opposed to assessing a vacant lot and then picking up the house for the 3rd and 4th quarter. So we're in the process of mainly focusing on new construction, major new construction, and then we'll continue that throughout right up until the end of August. Our subdivisions are almost all complete. They're 95% complete and in the system. They'll be headed off to the GIS company, CAI, that updates our GIS system. And then we'll have a new set of maps, I would say within 6 weeks. And just a reminder to everybody who's out there, exemptions, veterans exemptions, elderly exemptions, blind exemptions and whatnot are due April 1st. Just a reminder, because we have quite a few people who have received exemptions in the past who have not filed this year, despite being mailed the forms and numerous phone calls and follow-up letters. Jackie's been all over this, trying to get at least the people from prior years to apply this year. So please spread the word. Exemptions are due April 1st.
Joe, in that vein, is there any way that maybe we could talk with Seth and do a PSA on our local cable?
Seth and I were just talking about something like that. We were talking about basically the presentation that we gave at the senior center to record that for future, for the future. But we could do hopefully a quick PSA just to remind people about exemptions and the due date. We could also do an email blast from the selectman's office.
All right. Any questions, Todd? Steve?
No, I'm good. Thank you for the update, Joe.
All right, so we're talking about tentative dates for our next Board of Assessors meeting. I think one of the things that we talked about in our last meeting was a discussion about trying to pick certain dates that might be more logistically convenient now that we're able to maybe come into the town hall with COVID decreasing significantly. Obviously, I'm happy to go back to our regular meeting nights, which would be on Tuesdays, with an occasional trying to do it during the day also. I know that one thing that's convenient by doing this online is that we have the benefit of like 3 different screens, or at least I do, having in front of me as opposed to the paperwork when I'm actually at town hall. So I just thought briefly we have a discussion. Maybe we do a hybrid, a few online, and then a few at town hall, or however you gentlemen feel the need. So just thought I'd table that to see what your thoughts were.
I'm good. I'm good with that, John. No, I'm good with that too, John. Whatever's convenient for everyone is fine with me. I do prefer the Zoom because of the accessibility of all the information that we can have at our fingertips to, make good decisions. So I do like that. But obviously getting together once in a while in town hall is a good idea too.
So one thing I was going to ask, obviously this is year 3 for me on this board. There seems to be some flow and ebb with materials. It tends to be a lot more paperwork documentation after the abatements are filed at the end of January. So we tend to have a lot more work from February, March. I think we're pretty much done by the time we hit April. And in that vein, it's always much more beneficial to have the monitors, at least in front, as opposed to, say, the rest of the year. Maybe the consideration would be that we continue to have meetings, say, in mid-May or not mid-May, starting in May, primarily, Tuesday nights, 6 o'clock, because we can get our work done in time, or 5:30, whatever. And then during January and February, or February, March, and April, we consider having them via Zoom. Although I will say this, to the benefit of whether it's Steve or Todd, it's tough sometimes to do it during the day. We may end up wanting to do this in the evening, starting at 5 or something like this during those time periods. I don't know. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
Sure. Yeah. I like that idea. That's a good idea.
Todd, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, that all makes sense to me, whatever works best.
All right, so I guess we could say for our next meeting, which we're looking at in April, Joe, do you have a need or a necessity for us to come in, or should we just pick a date that would seem practical?
We had talked about tentative dates of April 12th, which is a Tuesday, and May 10th, which is a Tuesday, tentatively at 6 o'clock. Those meetings will be very light agenda-wise. Very light. The abatements should be completed tonight or today.
So I'm fine with that. I will not be able to make that on the 12th, but if that's convenient for the other 2 board members, I would say definitely we can go forward with that. It's just, that's the one Tuesday of the month I have a conflict with another board.
We can, and actually, you know what? That might not be a good night anyways, because town meeting is the day before, isn't it?
I think
11th?
I think it might be, Joe. Yeah,
I
that's
think it
correct.
might be, so, and that might go 2 nights. You never know.
Yep.
So do you want to do it the following Tuesday?
To the 19th, how's that sound?
I can't do the 19th. I have a
We
conflict.
talking April?
Yeah, April.
Yeah, I can't do the
19th.
19th either.
What about the 26th?
26 I can do.
I can do, yep,
I mean-
I can do the 26th.
That would be fine.
All right, so why don't we plan our next meeting for April 26th, 6 PM, gentlemen, or would you prefer 5:30, or what works for either one of you?
5:30 would work better for me because, inevitably there will be a hearing scheduled for me.
That's what I
probably
was
on
wondering.
Tuesday at 7
Let's
somewhere.
plan 5:30, and we'll do it in person at Town Hall. Okay? All
Perfect.
right, great. At this point in time, any other new business? I don't see any. So our next agenda item is to go into executive session. We will not return from executive session, but we're going into executive session to discuss overvaluation on applications 21, 23, 26, 28, and 30. We're going to talk about some veteran and elderly exemptions, and also review trust for eligibility based upon the ownership.
That's right.
This is a discussion that has to be had in executive discussion or in session, given to the sensitive financial information and privacy to all these applicants. So that having been said, I'll take a motion to go into executive session, not to return after we complete.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Guard, seconded by Mr. Glowak, all signify by saying aye. Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
All right, and that's a unanimous. So Jackie, I'd like to take a roll call vote to be able to go into executive session.
Sure, by roll call vote, Mr. Guard,
Aye.
Mr. Danahy,
Yes,
Mr. Glowak,
Aye.
thank you, folks.